me how to say ladies and gentlemen in gender-neutral terms.
Hey, yo. Hey, yo. Hey, yo.
I forgot to put the sound effect back in. Hey, everybody. HIAC Talk Radio. It's HIAC Talk Radio Plus. Craig Lagon's over here. I'm over there. He's over there. I'm over here. The press is Steve Reddit sucks. Not everybody, but for the most part. And if you have to go on there and say, well, not all of us, it's one of you. You're part of it. Yeah. Welcome to HIAC Talk Radio. Let's talk about let's bring up the first thing you wanted to talk about first, which is if you're a baseball fan, if you're a wrestling fan, fast forward this a little bit. But we're going to talk about baseball. Don't fast forward it because it's going to be enthralling. But Dick Allin finally being named
40 years after he's eligible.
For how many years?
40
years after he was eligible, and now after he has passed away, because Philly has this thing about, I don't know, they're stupid sometimes. We're stupid sometimes. Dick Allen's going into the baseball, the MLB Hall of Fame, and somebody asked, is he worthy? And now I leave it to you, Craig, to answer one of the dumbest questions I've ever heard. Go ahead. Is he worthy?
Dick Allin has been worthy since he's been a professional baseball player.
Yeah.
His stats, just in the 70s alone, the only person who had more hits, home runs, RBIs, and a higher on-base percentage than him was Hank Aaron. He was a 7-time All-Star. He was the MVP in the American League. He had maybe one of the best rookie seasons in baseball history that gets overlooked because we were on a Phillies team that had one of the worst collapses in baseball history until the Mets did it in 2007. In 1964, as a rookie, he had 200 hits and 91 RBIs. And during the Phillies' historic collapse, for those of you who don't know, quick history lesson, the Phillies were up by 6 games with 12 games to go. And they lost 10 in a row. And back then, whoever had the best record in the National League automatically went to the World Series. So if you came in second, you're not going to the playoffs. So during that 10-game losing streak, Dick Allin batted .464 and led the team in hits, home runs, and RBIs. So it's like, if you want to blame the 10-game losing streak, if that was Dick Allin, he was a severe introvert. Had he not been a severe introvert, he would have said, I don't know what you motherfuckers are doing, but I'm hitting. So if we're losing 10 games in a row, it ain't because of me. And he's still the only baseball player in any era to bat over 400 during a 10-game losing streak. And he was a rookie, folks. A rookie. In the Philly, he was the first black player in the Phillies farm system. And in the Phillies farm team in single A was in Arkansas, of all places, deep south. So guess who didn't want him playing on their team? Every person in Arkansas that didn't look like Dick Allin.
Would you like to read that, or would you like me to read that one? Breaking news: Aaron Rodgers blames Phillies losing streak on 1964 on vaccines.
Yeah,
he's an idiot.
Yeah, he's got a solid case.
Sure he does.
But Dick Allin in the Phillies farm system led all of minor leagues in hits, home runs, total bases. Again, he was the best player in every team he played for, in the National League or the American League. A 7-time All-Star. He was 1972 American League Most Valuable Player, 1972 RBI champion. He came back to Philly in the mid 70s. And because he always had a contentious relationship with the Philadelphia media, and that trickled over to the fans, because when he played for the Phillies in the 60s, one of his bigoted teammates went after him with a bat. And when that his white teammate was suspended, it was Dick Allin that was booed for causing a white man his job. It got so
Do we know who
bad.
that player was?
I had his name. I forgot. I know we talked when we on this very podcast when Dick Allin passed away. We talked about that, and we mentioned the player's name. I'm looking for it now.
His name is Dick McMunch.
Yeah, probably.
Just the greatest hit from Preston Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it got so bad that he would have to wear his batting helmet in the field from fans throwing debris at him. But he was a guy that didn't, and the Philly media wanted to call him Richie Allen, and he just said, "My name's Dick. My father's name was Dick. You can just call me that." But
what? Well, it's not like the Philly media, especially in radio, especially these days, are petty.
No.
Which we might touch up on in a little bit.
Yeah. But Dick Allen, to anyone who watched him, he was my dad's favorite player. And my friend Mike, whom I work with, it was his dad's favorite player. He was a lot of dad's favorite players because, again, in the Phillies history in the 60s, when they weren't so good, he was the best player on the team by far. And there was one minor league scout who said that the only person he ever saw hit a ball farther than Dick Allen was Babe Ruth.
Real quick.
Yeah.
It was Frank Thomas. No, not that one. This white one. And he looks like somebody who would use that word for freely.
Yeah. And the thing is, Dan, Frank Thomas and Dick Allen wound up friends.
Of course they did.
Yeah. But
well,
yeah,
because Dick is not a bitter person. When you're African American, especially having to go through Philly hate, you get a thick skin. You have to, because if you react the other way, they'll be like, "Hey, boy, you know."
Oh, yeah. And because he was a severe introvert, and because being a black athlete, he didn't like to do interviews or talk about himself. He was a guy that he was put on earth to play baseball, and that's all he did. And he wasn't used to people asking him about himself or his career or his stats or his numbers. So when he wanted to leave, after a game, he just wanted to leave, and everyone wanted to talk to him. And because he didn't talk a whole lot or just gave one-word answers, he was seen as difficult or stubborn, or how those people are. And as opposed to the other athletes during that time of the 60s, Cassius Clay, Jim Brown, Lou Alcindor, who were very outspoken, they expected the same from him. And when he did, it's like, because we can't win. If we ran our mouth, we were too mouthy. If we didn't say anything, we were too uppity. So, but again, all Dick Allen did was play baseball, and he did it better than anyone when he was playing. His son said it was a pleasure to finally hear him being called, but like so many great athletes, he never got a chance to. They had 40 years.
It's so stupid. Yes, Miss, he's so stupid.
Yeah, but
and I don't feel that's a strong enough word. But continue, Craig.
No, and he was inducted into the Phillies Wall of Fame, and rightfully so. And we're seeing clips of it now. Yeah. Again, whoop-de-doo. And that is an achievement. And everyone in Philly knew. I mean, the good people in Philadelphia knew. The teammates knew. Mike Schmidt, when Dick Allen was towards the end of his career, and Mike Schmidt was during the beginning of his, starting to be, the great player that he was. He said it was Dick Allen that showed me what it was like to be a professional baseball player. The way he carried himself.
One thing I just wanted to say real quick, was watching these clips, and I've been watching a lot since you broke the news in the private chat. I've been going back and watching a bunch. Is one of my favorite things in I can hear all the background noises, by the way. That's okay. Just letting you know. One of the things I love about baseball is, you got a lot of people that can hit hard, but it's the players that can hit that hard, like Dick Allen, Mike Schmidt, Bryce Harper, who can swing and hit a ball that hard and that fast, and it doesn't look like they're giving an effort in doing it.
No.
He would swing a bat, and it looks like he's just going, and that ball's going past 400 feet.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my favorite things to see, and I love all this old footage, man.
Yeah, it just
doesn't look better in that man's hair in a baseball helmet. God damn.
And one of my favorite pictures is him juggling baseballs while smoking a cigarette in the dugout.
Yeah, that's all. Just being able to hit the ball like that and it barely look like you're breaking a swing is one of my favorite. Breaking a sweat is Dave Parker and the We Are Family Pirates gear and the cylinder cap. I love the cylinder cap.
Dave Parker, another person should be in the Hall of Fame.
It's hard to be a Phillies fan. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do know, and because we've had a long, history, and if you've ever seen the movie 42, that Philadelphia doesn't have even though we love our team, and my mom was actually at Jackie Robinson's first game in Philly, and she talks about it. And we were nice to the players, or we were nice to people, and we were the last team in the National League to integrate. Of course, Boston was the last team, period, to integrate, but we were the last team in the National League.
Well, at least that bar was low, huh?
but not to take the spotlight away from. There he is.
I hear audio, so I know it works now.
Oh, sorry, is my game? Hold on.
No, I can't hear. I mean, I can hear you. You're good. Everything's good.
I can't see you guys. I can't see you guys, but I can hear you. So I guess that's all right.
You can't see us?
No, I can't.
Well, I hate to tell you, Craig's the only other black person here. I'm white. Just want to let you know.
That's the story of my life. It's always one of us. So I give you the head nod when I see you.
What did I post the other day? The picture. Peoples Hernandez posted replied to something, and I immediately took a picture of Peoples Hernandez from Shaft and put it up on the thing. I was like, I hope he understands what I mean, because I'm like, because his friends are gonna go, what the fuck is he? What's this white? No, that's not. That's Dan, because he has a bad, because his hairline's back too. Look at me, I should know.
God bless Biggie, man.
Yeah. Don't listen. We'll talk about that in a second. But anyway, you're a baseball dude. Dick Allin is finally getting in the Hall of Fame about 4,000 years too late after he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, white folks.
That's what they do. Yeah, that's what they do. Hold on. There we go. Now I can see you guys. My dog is running around. But
now we can see it. Okay, well, whatever, fixed it. Yeah.
All right, I still can't see you guys, but if you can see me, it's okay.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, you're good.
But yeah, my dad used to tell stories about this guy, and my dad was like, if you grew up in a black household, he's like everybody's uncle that would come to the barbecue and smoke all the time. It was like the coolest dude in the world. That's how my dad would describe him to me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mine too.
And I was saying, as you were coming on, one of my favorite things, and I'll put Juan Soto in there, but Juan Soto, Bryce Harper, Dick Allin, Mike Schmidt. One of my favorite things is watching a guy hit a ball or watching anybody hit a ball that hard, that fast, that far, and not look like he's even trying. It's not even breaking a sweat. He just
yeah, like Ken Griffey. Ken Griffey would hit a baseball. And
thank you. Yeah, Griffey.
So I was talking about Griffey today at work. We was talking about Soto. And one of the old timers I work with, he goes, if they're giving Soto $700 million and all he does is hit, he goes, if Ken Griffey was in his prime, they'd have to give him $900 million because he could do everything when he was young.
Yeah. And Ken Griffey and all those names I mentioned, not to take anything away from Dick Allin or any of those guys' swings, but my two favorite is Michael Jack Schmidt's and Ken Griffey Jr.'s. Those two guys' swings were so fucking beautiful.
I used to, God. I used to kill myself as a kid trying to swing like Ken Griffey. The most beautiful thing in the world.
Ken
I would
Griffey.
try. Go
Ken
ahead.
Griffey,
Go ahead.
Ken Griffey hit a home run on the very first pitch he saw as a major league player.
Yeah, he's amazing. Amazing.
Look at that. Oh God.
It's
It's just art,
him-
man. That's art.
I tell people and I'm not that old, but the two greatest baseball players I've ever seen is pre-steroids Barry Bonds and pre-injury Ken Griffey Jr. Like that's the pinnacle of baseball to me. Those two.
They were the two best in the world, Derek, and everyone on earth knew that. And
Mhm.
it was if not for Barry Bonds' ego,
I know, right?
trying to compete and seeing Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa, two guys that two of them together don't equal the talent of one
No.
Barry Bonds.
No, at all.
When he decided to, I mean, the guy had won 4 MVPs before he started enhancing himself. So again, his natural talent was undeniable. Like Ken Griffey, I don't know if it's second generation, what Barry Bonds and Ken Griffey Sr. were feeding those kids, but they're two of the best natural athletes that baseball has ever produced, as far as second generation.
Young me is going, please be Frosted Flakes. Please be Frosted Flakes. It wasn't.
Right. It wasn't at all.
It was not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Dick, go ahead, Craig.
The last thing about
this up.
Dick Allen, when he only played, he came back to the Phillies at 75 and 76, when his career was winding down, and there was a couple of times when he was with the Phillies where the people couldn't find him, and one time they found him just sitting on third base at Veterans Stadium by himself.
Wow.
On the day off. But he was just a guy that liked to be alone. That again was a severe introvert. Didn't like to talk baseball. Didn't like to talk about himself. After he would play the game of baseball, game that he loved, game that he was great at, and after the game, he'd want to leave. And
why would you want to stay and chat with a bunch of people that were calling you slurs for the last 14 hours?
or calling you Ricky when your name was Dick.
Yeah, that's yeah. Well,
yeah,
God.
But 40 years too late. But nonetheless, a Hall of Fame talent, a Hall of Fame player. That's undeniable. Again, you look at his numbers in the 70s. Only person that had better numbers than him was Hank Aaron. And also one of the greatest rookie seasons in baseball history that gets overlooked constantly. But look what he did in 1964. His first year with it, 200 hits and 125 runs scored. Wow. Again,
is he worth is he Hall of Fame for? Yeah.
Fuck yes, he's worth it. Yeah. Again, he's a rookie, folks.
Yeah, right.
Don't do that now.
No.
Man.
Yeah. And again, batted 400 during a 10-game losing streak.
Look at that. His lifetime on base is 912. Yeah, he's all right.
And his lifetime batting average was 292. Even his last 2 years where he was garbage, where he wasn't, he still had a lifetime batting average of 292.
I don't understand why they make guys like that wait. Even like in the NFL now, they're saying Sterling Sharp might finally get into the Hall of Fame, and it's like I don't understand why you make guys wait till like they're old or gone. Like it's stupid to me.
I'm so glad you asked that, Derek, because I can bring this gimmick back. Because of his skin color.
Same thing with Terrell Owens. I know he wasn't the best teammate, but they made the guy wait 3 times to get in. It's like and when you're talking about the greatest receivers of all time, it's him, Randy Moss, and Jerry Rice. I don't understand how that's not an automatic bid, but
By the way, when he was doing his shit in the driveway, I just want to say, I didn't give a shit.
Yeah, I didn't think.
Just like the stuff that's going on right now, that as it isn't actually going on between Jalen Hurts and his teammates. There's actually nothing going on. It's just WIP. By the way, on the record, fuck you, 610 or 94 WISP WIP. Fuck
Yeah.
you. Shut the fuck up. Nobody likes you or respects you. They just want to call in and call you names. You fucking white trash pieces of shit. Pardon me, Dana, for the outburst. I'm just saying. But when this shit was going on with Terrell Owens, when the stuff was going on, shit was going on, air quotes, with Allen Iverson, I didn't fucking care as long as the win column was there. I don't care. I don't care. I can't fix it if it is real. Shut up.
You guys have a way of alienating stars. I remember when Embiid got hurt last year, and
Don't
certain
even
people,
get me started about Embiid, Derek.
and they were like, "Oh, he's faking sick because he doesn't want to play Jokic," and I'm like, "Well, that's not that's not no. He outplays the guy every time they play. How is he avoiding the guy he outplays every time they play?" And now look at that. Now, a year later, he was legit hurt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, Dan.
No, I know you watched the game. I don't know. Derek probably didn't watch it, but they played the Bulls yesterday, the Sixers, and it was Embiid's first game back in like 2 weeks.
31
And
points, right? Yeah.
33 points
and 12 rebounds.
and 12 rebounds, and the man was moving like he hadn't taken a game off. Shut the fuck up, sports radio. Shut up.
I'm going to say this to reinforce Derek's point, and I'm not proud of this because I am old and because I've been around Philly sports and Philly sports media. They were doing, and it's not, you can use the echo and say the skin color, but they were doing, the Philly media was doing the same thing to Mike Schmidt. The greatest
old white folks.
But the greatest third baseman in Phillies, in baseball history, and definitely the greatest Philly of all time, he was getting booed here when people thought he was dogging. And again, like Dick Allen, you know why Mike Schmidt and Dick Allen got along so well? Because they made the hardest plays in baseball look easy, because Dick Allen could hit a ball out of the ballpark just with a flick of his wrist. Mike Schmidt could grab a barehanded ground ball and throw a guy out, which 9 out of 10 third basemen can't do.
No, it's hard.
And he could do it. And the fact that he made it look easy and it wasn't, people thought he came off as snobbish or a hot dog. And he was booed. I mean, do you remember the picture, Dan, of Mike Schmidt walking onto the field with a wig on because he wanted to be in disguise? Yeah. And even during his Hall of Fame speech, he said, address the Philly media, can we put all this to bed, please? I mean, he's the greatest player. I mean, people want to suck. There's a line to suck Bryce Harper's dick right now in Philadelphia. And he hasn't even done half the shit that Mike Schmidt has done. And all Mike Schmidt did was be the greatest third baseman of all time, playing on fucking sandpaper on concrete, Veteran Stadium turf, that ruined and ended more careers. And he did it every day, hitting tape measure home runs in a cavernous Veteran Stadium that the Citizens Bank Park could fit inside Veteran Stadium. So you're talking about if Ken Griffey were still playing, he'd make $500 million. Mike Schmidt would be making $2 billion if he played. But again, the Philadelphia media is the one that considered him aloof or a snob because he was nonchalant about the way he played. Because he made the hard stuff look easy. Go ahead, Dan.
I was going to play this for us, and also Dana's going to see an exclusive because I haven't posted this yet, but the edit is finished, and it's very relevant to our conversation that we're having right now. And I just wanted to see everybody to see it before I released it yesterday. Tomorrow, I'm in a time machine. Well, not only the toll that athleticism puts on your body at an average normal size, but being taller than 6'3", when you're towering towards 7 feet, if you're playing, I don't know, say, for example, basketball or a professional wrestler, the amount of impact that has on your limbs and your joints, and how quickly I found it, and how quick it deteriorates.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the knee replacement one, but the same point. Look, look at that.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm really, really, really tired of seeing people bitch about Joel Embiid as if he's doing it on purpose. Shut the fuck up. You're stupid. Well, not. What the point I was playing was the point I was making was that the footage that I edited in there was a couple of highlights for the game that I was just talking about that he just played, where he has on his left knee, which is at least 5 foot tall. His leg is wrapped from his but right above his knee down because his knee's fucked up, and the block that he's still moving faster than any of the three of us.
Yeah.
And Derek can fucking go. Like
he look, to put in perspective to people, he's probably, and I'm not that old. He's probably the most physically gifted big man I've seen since Akeem Olajuwon. Like, they just move gracefully. They're like gazelles out there. They run like gazelles. They can jump. They're long. They can block anything. They can make any play on the court. I've never seen anything like it before. And just to hear that they bash him in Philly is, but I guess it's par for the course. They bash Iverson. They bash Barkley.
Derek, I hate giving you fuel because you're a New York guy. It's some fans. It's mostly the media and one in particular. Just taking a steam, and I know Craig's jumping at the bit on this one. Just taking a steaming pile of shit on Joel Embiid. Go ahead, trade him.
Yeah, be careful.
Well, right now,
Go ahead.
Be careful.
Our quarterback has won 9 games in a row, and I guess what they would prefer. Would you prefer Josh Allen, who throws the ball 35 times and loses?
Yeah, right.
Jared Goff threw 5 picks. I didn't hear anybody asking him to get benched or anything like that. But all Jalen Hurts does is win. Since he's been a starting quarterback in this league, he's won. But yeah, this is going to be a big deal for the rest of the week.
He's had one bad game in 3 months. And I would argue he actually didn't have that. He didn't have a bad game anyway. Like, he didn't.
I mean,
like, where he wasn't passing well, he was. Their rushing was insane. Like, what the fuck do you want?
But do you remember? Well, Dan, you will remember when this entire city was screaming at the football team to run the damn ball. Fans were holding up signs. Goodyear blimps were flashing messages. Now we're running the damn ball, and our quarterback doesn't throw enough. So again, it's his fault. So it's Philly media. You can't win if Jalen Hurts threw for 300 yards and we lost. It's still his fault. But he passed for 100, and we win 9 in a row, mind you. And this is where we are. We don't have a lot of time with Derek because I know he's going to shoot. So you've got at least 4
No. He's got 4 fucking hours.
I'm just taking it. I just want to tell Philly fans, be careful, because you guys are part of the reason that Ben Simmons is broken. You contributed to that. I know his back is up in his brain. You guys contributed to it. Doc Rivers and you guys contributed to breaking that poor young man.
Listen. I blew that guy and still did when he was here, and it's on the shows.
Yeah,
it's on the episodes. I blew him when he left and said that, man, I hope he mentally gets the help. And now he's a lazy bitch. So I'm just saying.
I always said the mistake that Philly made wasn't drafting him and Embiid. It was not drafting Jason Tatum. Because if you guys had Jason Tatum now,
well, we know that now, Steve. Okay.
I mean, who was it?
Thank
Fultz?
you.
They drafted Fultz instead, right? Was that the guy they drafted?
That was a draft of we had the number 1 pick and we picked Jason Tatum. Do you know the year that we picked Ben Simmons, Jalen Brown for the Celtics was number 3?
The last time we had the number 1 pick, it was Patrick Ewing, so I can't talk.
I'm keeping track, Derek. Don't worry. Keep talking.
Derek, I still have Ben Simmons jersey, so he wasn't. Dan was the only one I was blowing him. So.
Derek's a New York guy. I appreciate him being humble enough not to mention the Liberty being WNBA champs while Philly.
Look,
team.
I mean, God bless the Liberty. They brought some much needed happiness to this city. And now the Knicks are playing in what's that made up NBA Cup thing that they have. So they probably
I don't know the name of it because I don't give a fuck, Derek.
nobody cares. But if we win, we have look. The Giants are terrible. I'm not a Jets fan, but Aaron Rodgers looks like he's 70 years old.
To answer your question, Dana, to answer your question, Derek is an Islanders guy because he was on that island.
Yes, I am. I will be in that building this Saturday for Saturday's night main event. So
for AEW, or TNA. Wow. TNA's running that building, aren't they?
No, TNA's running UBS. Saturday's night main event is at the Old Coliseum.
No, I'm sorry. I meant the Islanders' current arena. They're running that.
Yes, TNA is running that, which I might have to go to because that's.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Okay, go ahead.
AEW's downgraded. Isn't that funny?
It is funny.
That's hilarious to me. Fuck. Okay, so go ahead, Craig. You boss.
I was gonna throw it to our man here since we have limited time, and you've got 4 weeks worth of stuff to talk about, Derek. Talk about Bobby Lashley, about the press conference, about Ricky Starks, about Ray Fenix. So your time, man. Go.
I'm gonna start with Ray Fenix because it's currently happening now. It's funny. Okay, so he went online and he said, I've been treated inhumanely and I needed a doctor, and you wouldn't send a doctor to me, blah 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 blah. And I've seen all these fans online going, how can you be treated inhumanely when you're getting paid to stay home?
What?
Never mind the fact, I've seen fans say that. They're paying you to stay home. Well, the guy probably wants to wrestle. Like, maybe he's just one of these guys.
Have you met wrestlers before?
Yeah, they like to wrestle. Matter of fact, they say they get hurt when they sit around and do nothing and they go back. Like, they like to stay busy. And then he kind of alluded to the fact that he needed medical help and they didn't apply the help. They didn't get the help for him, blah, blah, blah. But all this is in line with stuff that Miro and CM Punk said. When CM Punk did the interview with Ariel Helwani, CM Punk, when he got hurt, after the brawl out, he says, I had to book my own doctor. I didn't hear anything from the company. I had to set up my own surgery. When somebody tweeted Miro last year, and Miro goes, look, I got hurt in September. I didn't get the help I needed to January of the next year. And apparently Tony Khan knew nothing about it. If you take the name Tony Khan and you erase his name and you put Vince McMahon in that, and you have Vince doing to Ricky Starks what's happening to Starks, what's happening to Fenix, what he did to just anything that's happened, people would be marching in the streets to have him removed from his position. And I don't understand. I don't know what it is, but people give Tony Khan the benefit of the doubt when all we keep getting is stories of how he's an incompetent, he's not a leader, he's this, he's petty, he's that. I need somebody to explain to me why does this guy get the excuses from the fans that nobody else would be given. They talk and they brag about a TV deal. Well, the TV deal is amazing, but you can't book an arena that holds more than 1,500 people. They had this BS press conference today in Dallas, Texas, and there were 20 people at the press conference. 20.
I saw. And they brought Daniel Bryan out too. Yeah.
Yeah, you had Daniel Bryan and Sting out there looking ridiculous. I love Mercedes, Sasha. I love her. I think she's one of the biggest female stars in the world. She messed up by not going back to the E.
Yeah.
Because she just and it's not. I don't blame her. I don't blame her. But she doesn't fit.
No.
She Camille. I love Camille. Right? Camilla, her the girl that was her bodyguard.
Yeah.
She skipped NXT to go to AEW. I'm pretty sure they promised her this big storyline with Sasha, and she was going to be the Diesel to Sasha Shawn. They broke them up already, and the whole time she was Sasha's bodyguard, she got beat up. She got made to look stupid. She looked any stock she had has plummeted.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you go there, and within 2 months, you're nothing. Ricochet. Ricochet might be worse off now than he was last year in the WWE. It's like I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't understand, and people just maybe it's because he's a nice guy. I don't know, but he's incompetent. And all the old timers from Cornette to Dutch to Bischoff, they've all been 1,000% correct on him, and nobody holds the man accountable for it. It's crazy to me.
I've been right about him. Toot my dick. No, I I've been watching the conversation unfold on our favorite app of Twitter, and the how do I say this? The amount of backs that have broken, bending backwards to explain this one out on why he's still better than Vince. Oh, he's only better. It's all to, well, I mean, he didn't rape somebody and poop on him.
Wow.
What a fucking low bar.
Yeah,
But,
right.
hey, great. At least he didn't rape anybody. He's still a fucking wrestling promoter doing shitty wrestling promoting things. He's no different. He's no different. And how do we know he hasn't sexually assaulted somebody? Allegedly. Tony, it doesn't, if you're a promoter, if you're doing, all I hear is this glad handing of watch all wrestling, but then this infighting that happens for brand. It didn't work out in the Monday Night Wars. It's not going to work out now. That is not going to change.
Yeah.
I'm not a Fed guy. I'm not. I want to watch as much as many and as often as I can. Dana, I'll read that in a second. Very funny. But Tony couldn't assault anyone because if you just look at him all mad, he'll fear for his life. Very good. My point being is he's still a shitty wrestling promoter.
Yes.
There is no difference. He was having Ric Flair strut out there because he got money from his fucking energy drink or whatever it was company. After we all acknowledged, and he was like, everything you've heard about me is true. Oh, okay, we're done now.
Yeah.
Tony Khan has EVPs that wouldn't sit there with CM Punk and move that through, and CM Punk was willing to work with them. But, whatever. Tony Khan is holding wrestlers hostage, figuratively, for contract because he's just as petty and bitter as any other wrestling promoter out there. He's no different. He's not special. The only difference in that way is he can't book his way out of a fucking bag.
So much was, the little throwaway comment that CM Punk made when he first talked about what happened backstage at AEW. He said he asked to leave. He wanted to leave. He partly because he said this is a company that's not interested in making money, in selling tickets, in drawing ratings, or doing business. It's a joke. He said that is a throwaway line, and he was only there for a year, and he knew that the company wasn't interested in drawing business or doing business or drawing money or drawing ratings because of what a lousy way he books everyone. And CM Punk was given, because after he begged to leave, he was given Collision. All right, it's your baby. And what do you know? Collision's ratings went up because it just had CM Punk's guys on there. But because it was successful and because Tony Khan didn't want to have his guys in there, enter Jack Perry, and the rest is history. And like when CM Punk told the story, he didn't know Jack Perry was there. We want to do the glass thing. But like you said at the very beginning about Ray Fenix, Derek, he was hurt. Nobody said anything, and he told people that he was hurt, and nobody in AEW did anything. CM Punk tore his tricep. He didn't hear from anyone in AEW for 6 months. Miro the same way. If Seth Rollins was hurt, well, he's right now in War Games. Bronson Reed broke his foot. Jimmy Uso broke his toe. You don't think anyone from WWE is not going to contact him? You think you're sitting home and haven't heard a word from anyone in charge?
Yeah.
No. But if you work for AEW, no, Tony's going to ghost you. That's how guys don't even find out they're fired, because Tony just doesn't return their phone calls.
It's so bad. I thought 2 years ago, I thought he can mess up everything. He
Mhm.
can't mess up. He can't mess up MJ. MJF is just a guy now.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't feel special anymore. So you took the one shining beacon you had and you ruined that. And if you turn on Raw, you'll see CM Punk doing business with Drew McIntyre, who, if he doesn't have a legitimate problem with him, they led the world to think he had a legitimate problem with him. He worked with Roman, who had a problem with him as soon as he left the company. He's going to work with Seth, who had a problem with him. He teamed with Sammy, all these guys who he had a problem with. And you couldn't sit the Bucks and Hangman down because it seems like Omega was willing to do it. You couldn't sit those three guys and go, look, we can make so much money booking the Elite versus Punk and FTR. You can book 2-3 years worth of angles off of that. And
They
now
could
he's
have. They could have
yeah,
sold that with that.
and now he's gone.
Mhm.
And he's like I said, he worked with Drew. He's going to work with Roman. He's working with Seth now. I'm pretty sure he's going to work with Kevin Owens. There's all these guys you can put him with, and you had him in your company, and he wanted to be there, and you let him go because you were afraid to be. That interview you mentioned, he goes when he gets into it with Jungle Boy. He tells Tony, you handle that, and Tony looks at him and goes, "What do you want me to do?" He goes, "Be the boss. Just be the boss, man. That's all I ask. Just be a boss."
And what kind of boss? You imagine go to your boss for your help, and then your boss goes, "Well, what do you want me to do?"
Yeah, be in charge. What are we doing? And I see all these wrestlers sticking up for him, and I've watched enough shoot interviews and things like that to where, and I hate using these terms because I'm not in the industry, but wrestlers know a money mark when they see one.
Yes.
They know, and they know they have it made working once or twice a week for Tony Khan, making hundreds, sometimes millions of thousands of dollars, and nobody's going to say anything against the guy because they're being paid well. You don't think Dustin Rhodes grew up in this industry? You don't think Dustin goes into work sometime and just shakes his head like Cody did before he left? Just shakes his head and goes, "Oh, this place." You know, Mark Henry was there. Mark Henry, I saw an interview with Mark Henry, and they asked him what the problem with creative is, and he goes, "Because there's only one voice in that room. If you're not allowed to push back on that one voice, it's that one person, and either he likes it or he dislikes it, and that's it. And that's the problem. And that's what people said about Vince towards the end. It was his voice, his vision, and nothing else."
Mm-hmm. Which is why he got so many bad ideas, along with some good ideas. Yeah, but because Tony Khan will never relinquish the book, you're never going to see anything productive happen in AEW. They have no stars. You know, the
No.
one star they do have, MJF, would rather do movies
Mm-hmm.
than appear. And even another thing Punk said, you got guys there. He revealed a lot in that one interview with Ariel Mawani. He said you have guys there that want to
Mm-hmm.
work 1 day a week and
Yeah.
then just tape vignettes for the rest of the month. And the guys that want to work 1 day a week barely want to do that.
Yeah.
So what kind of company is that? And that right there shows you that it's a company that's not interested in making money or drawing ratings. They have no stars, and the only people they right now they are stars that they look like stars are the Hurt business, the Hurt Syndicate, and they've even had Shelton already done has already lost twice.
Yeah, right? And they're teasing tension already. Like, why?
Yeah, I don't. You have the again. They have all these layups come into the company that you can just put over right away.
And they pass it instead of laying it up, just like Ben Simmons.
But I mean, the list is endless. Miro,
Callback.
your first time with Miro, he's wearing a Minnie Mouse shirt and he's playing video games. You had Wardlow. That's your Goldberg right there. Blew that. Ricky Starks blew that. Mark Briscoe. It's bad enough he didn't put the Briscoes on TV when they had the best matches with FTR anywhere on the planet. And you could have had at least one of them on TNT or TBS. No. But then Jay unfortunately dies. Mark Briscoe gets a standing ovation. His first time there. He never wrestled in the company before. That's your number one babyface right there. Blew that.
Blew it.
Mercedes blew that. Ricochet blew it. Not that Ricochet could have been anything, but he could have used him better. I mean, he left WWE so he could do, get a fair shot in AEW. And again, they blew it. So I'm waiting. These guys right now are the only legitimate stars that they have, because they not only do they look and act and just look like professional athletes, they look like 3 Andre the Giants compared to the rest of the roster.
Yeah.
But I'm waiting for them to fuck that up too.
That's just
And
Dana says AEW is a real life EFED, and I say this as someone who did EFED stuff back in another lifetime.
It is. He hired FTR just so they could wrestle the Bucks. If they're not wrestling the Bucks, there's nothing worth. He does like he doesn't know what to do with them now. FTR is just a regular team now. He brought in Ricochet just to wrestle Ospreay, blew that on free television. You bring Bobby Lashley in, and the first person you have him feud with is Swerve. It's like, do you not know how to build up to anything?
No.
Like, you just give all these things. When they got Okada, the first person they put Okada in the ring with was Omega, and it's like, well then, what's the point? Like, all right, I know Shinsuke. It's been start stop with Shinsuke, but there's no way you can look at the presentation they've given to Shinsuke and not wanted to see what Triple H could have did with Okada if he would have came to the company. He'd be a superstar by now.
When they brought Jeff Hardy back on free TV, and the next time he was on, he was going through a table on a hardcore match in the opening bout.
God.
You reunite the Hardy Boys on free television. That's pay-per-view thing. Again, we can go on and on, but the company's a joke. They're at, what was their last ratings? What, 500?
530. 530. Yeah.
A year ago, they were doing 800 on the same date, so they lost, and they lose about 200,000 viewers per episode. I mean, every week, and they're announcing a stadium in 2025.
Yeah.
Who's gonna go?
Good luck.
Yeah.
And then, and because it was in Texas, I saw they had like Athena there. But then you hide her behind a paywall on a show that nobody cares about. Like, I still don't understand to this day why Athena isn't on TV every Wednesday.
No,
I don't get it. I don't understand. Jamie Hayter, who was
fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jamie Hayter, she was out for a year and a half. Everybody was excited for her to come back, and you bring her back on the pre-show to your biggest show of the year. It's like, what is he not understanding? And I saw an old interview where he goes, oh, some people they compare me to Paul Heyman, and if I was Paul Heyman, I would call him and tell him to shut the F up. Don't mention my name. Don't make any comparisons.
Keep my name out your mouth.
Yeah, you're not Paul Heyman, and let's just say, all right, Ricky wants to leave, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fine. You know what a good booker would do? They would set Ricky up so when he leaves, he's putting somebody over so that person looks like a bigger star on the way out the door. Ricochet wasn't a big star in WWE, and they knew he was leaving, so they used him to make Braun Breaker look like a monster, and that's Ricochet.
Yes.
I don't understand the guy. I really don't understand him.
Well, it's not going to get any better. He's not going to magically turn into a great booker unless someone else gets the book. And it's not like there's not enough people in the company that could do it.
I was going to say, Derek, like, how many years do you have to be called on the carpet for the same thing? And people say, I just want the show to be better, before you go, all right, maybe I should let somebody else do it.
Yeah. I saw an interview where he goes, I don't care what Eric Bischoff has to say.
You should
learn from his. You should, because first of all, he was successful, and you can learn from his mistakes. Like, that's the one guy I would always talk to is Bischoff, because you're making the same mistakes he did, the same exact mistakes that Bischoff did. You're letting the inmates run the asylum. I don't.
Just to be a dude for a second. How do you let someone that looks like that go? Pay for it and not get more eyes on it.
Yeah.
Not get my eyes on her. You know what I mean? The attraction. Like, what? Dana asks, y'all pay better attention than I. So does AEW have any enhancement wrestlers, or does everyone need to be a star with an entrance? Yeah, Thane is an enhancement wrestler.
She might as well be, yeah.
They make their
Yeah.
enhancement wrestlers main event stars. Orange Cassidy, Wheeler Yuta,
Oh.
Daniel Garcia. They are obsessed with making 5'10".
You leave Wheeler Yuta alone. God damn it. I'm just kidding. Go.
They're obsessed with making 6 foot, 175-pound guys your main event stars. When the guys that look like $1 million, that look like they can draw you money, that can draw you money, Hobbs, Wardlow, but no, they have to do jobs to Darby Allin, a guy like that, and who Tony Khan is obsessed with, that Darby Allin be champion. And why Orange Cassidy is challenging Moxley for your belt? That's your main event on a pay-per-view.
I cannot believe. I tried to ignore it, and I cannot believe if all of the wrestlers that Sting could have been paired with on his shut up, Derek. I'm joking. On his end run to eventually push to give him the elements of Sting, which is coming down from the rafters, the lights shutting off, snow. They gave it to Darby. Fucking, I probably raped someone, Allin.
Yeah,
it looks stupid. Stupid. It looks stupid when he comes down from the rafters, and then he can't get the stupid thing off because he's a low-grade fucking moron and can't remove the hook. And then the table breaks apart because he farted on it before he got thrown through it. Everything was bad. Everything you're doing is bad. I want you to know this.
He's
Darby
supposed to be.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say he's supposed to be the Sting to Moxley's Hollywood Hogan, right? Like he's the guy that's gonna save the company. So what do you do to the guy you want to book like Sting? You have him lose to Cesaro, who is Moxley's henchman, on free TV with a clothesline. Why the hell do I want to pay to watch Darby Allin fight Moxley when you couldn't beat Moxley's henchman and he beat you with a clothesline? What's the point?
I don't want to pay to see Darby Allin park cars.
And
Quote me on that, motherfucker. I'll fight him too. I don't care.
Darby Allin's a perfect example of someone who should be enhancement talent, but is pushed as a main eventer. And you expect the company to be taken seriously? And again, you have guys that look like they can that look like somebody, that look like a real, guy that you can make money with, and they're ignored, or they're left off the roster, or they're just not used at all. I mean, even a guy like Takeshita. Give that guy a good manager, nothing wrong with Don Calvin. Give that guy a guy that can talk. You can make him mid guy. He looks like some. Out of all the Japanese wrestlers you have, Takeshita has got the biggest upside. You can do so much with that guy, but he's another one that's just lost.
Look at that image. Look at that image.
I'm looking.
Like.
Unfortunately, it looks to me
how?
Kind of like John Lee Hooker.
How did I sit and support Sting and watch him from start to finish just for us to be left with Darby Allin? We spell it like Gigi Allen, another piece of shit.
They had Wardlow. He would come out. He was powerbombing people. They were chanting his name in the tone of Goldberg. They were counting the power bombs when he would powerbomb people. How do you not take MJF and make MJF your biggest heel, put the belt on him, and have Wardlow be the guy to take the belt off of him? It writes itself. It's Shawn and Diesel. It's not that hard. And I love Samoa Joe. But you had Samoa Joe be the guy who beat MJF for the title.
Yeah. I mean, with Wardlow, at the height of his push, they put a belt on him, and then they had him go 12 minutes with Orange Cassidy. That should have been a power bomb 3 minutes. He was getting Orange Cassidy was getting 2 counts on Wardlow. That's when I lost all hope. It's like, are you kidding me? You want this guy to be the equal to Wardlow? That's your goal. You remember the time, Derek, on Nitro when Goldberg went 10 minutes with Disco Inferno? That 10-minute match that went through 2 commercial breaks. So they were evenly matched. Remember that? Remember when Dan, you remember when Stone Cold in that 10-minute match he had with Taka Michinoku?
Oh, sure. Yeah. No, because it didn't happen, folks.
He called Orange Cassidy their John Cena. That's the problem. Then that's the problem right there.
Who called Orange Cassidy their John Cena?
Tony Khan. He said Orange Cassidy is our John Cena. I said, well, that's the problem. And that explains it all. That's the problem that's this company in a nutshell. Even when they tried to make Orange Cassidy serious, the beat down before the pay-per-view, they duct taped the guy's hands to his pockets, which is terrible in itself. He can't defend himself. They're beating him down. And instead of him standing up and firing up and becoming a fiery babyface, he does those little stupid kicks. And they knock him down and they proceed to beat the guy up. And I was just like, this is for an audience of one. This is for an audience of one. There's no way anybody believes any of this stuff.
Yeah,
Orange Cassidy.
Tony Khan that's who Tony Khan dressed up for Halloween was Orange Cassidy. That's his
Orange Cassidy is their John Cena.
That's what he said.
Yep.
If I'm Wardlow at home, I go, you know what?
I broke my television.
Yeah, and I'm calling Cody, and I'm going, Cody, I'll see you in whenever this contract is over. I'll see you whenever this contract. I'll wrestle on NXT. Anywhere is better than where I'm at right now. Anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he'll miss the money. I think that's what's really the only thing that's enticing anyone to go over, because it's already well established. Tony Khan will pay anybody. These guys that are making a fortune now, couldn't even make it, main event at a rec center in Hoboken. But they'll go to Tony. All these indie-rific guys are making more money than they've ever have a right to make in their whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Your Chuck Taylors, your Colt Cabanas, your Kyle Fletchers, and all these guys that there aren't household names, wouldn't be anywhere else, but Tony Khan would hire them in a second, because especially if they're friends of the Bucks. And you're friends of the Bucks, it's the friends of the program. You'll get in. Yeah. And because if you're friends with the Bucks, you get a job, and if you're friends with anyone who doesn't like the Bucks, like CM Punk, then you won't get a job.
Yeah. I look at all the biggest signings between both companies this year, and it's AEW signed Okada, Will Ospreay, Ricochet, and Mercedes, right? Mm-hmm. WWE signed Jacob Fatu. Jacob has more aura about him than any of those people that Tony signed. And I think Jacob has fought on TV, 3 times? Maybe he just had his first single match against Jay. Yep. And when he walked out the cage at War Games, the crowd gasped. Like he was a heel in the 80s in Japan. And that's just the difference in booking. If he would have went to AEW, he would have been just another guy. And like you said, he would have been going 30 minutes with Darby Allin, and that would have been it. Bronson Reed is a monster now. And it took them 2-3 months to make him a monster. That's the difference in booking.
And Hobbs in AEW, if they use Hobbs in AEW the way they use Bronson Reed in WWE, 3 months, that's your monster heel right there.
Yep.
Dana says, when I watched MLW for a brief time, MJF had a great bodyguard type named Hammerstone. I liked him. Imagine he and Wardlow beating people silly every week before a final meetup. Hammerstone's great. This is not a comment on Hammerstone as a wrestler. He has a great look, and yes, he needs to. That would be amazing. You can't see the tweets because if you're watching the screen, you can see my screen. You can't see the tweets he's replying to because it's my suspended account because I said I wanted to fight transphobes on X. But this is when I called Disco Inferno a curtain jerker, which is a play on Sting calling Disco once a curtain jerker, always a curtain jerker on a VH1 show called The List once. And he thought, I just watched that a couple of weeks ago. Where? Send me the link, please.
I'll send it to you. It was on YouTube, and Scott Steiner had like the wrong idea of what the.
Yeah, he
he's
thought
like,
it was a sex show. Yes, yes,
all these songs. Yes, I'll send it
yes.
to you.
And then there's a reference between Kevin Nash and Booker T about Rochester, and I've been dying to ask both of them what he's giggling about because they never reveal what the fuck they're talking about, and I'm dying to know because I assume it's a strip club incident. I need to know, but Sting is cooler. That's when I realized Sting gets it and he's cool. Disco's a fucking moron, and he calls Disco a curtain jerker like 3 times. And I said curtain jerker, and Hammerstone thought I meant jerking off. And that was his reply. And that was me going, no, Hammerstone, it's a wrestling term for being first out the curtain.
Yeah.
Damn, the life you live in is hilarious.
And I was like, dude, why don't you know that? Just to see, I'm not lying. He's replying to my account right there. Account suspended. But then he gave me a fist because I was like, all good, no problem. But I was like, have you not known?
You of all people, Hammerstone, how do you not know the lingo?
Brother, you should know, my friend. And again, I'm joking.
Mm-hmm.
It's a joke. I thought it was funny. I have nothing rude or bad to say about Hammerstone. He seems like a good dude. He's incredible. I'm glad he's with TNA, but he'd be great, Dana, exactly in that position. And I need Wardlow and Hammerstone or someone like those two beating the piss out of people.
Unfortunately,
Who did you Bronson Reed too? When his ankles get better. Who did you just mention? Derek. WWE.
Braun, they have so many. Braun Breaker.
Bigger guy.
Oba Femi in NXT.
All of those guys, like, just have them beat. What happened to the old segments where they just beating up the little guys? And this is from a little guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care.
There's no such thing as a squash match anymore. To get guys over.
And when they did, remember when Nia Jax first came back? And she, for like 3 weeks, she just had 3-minute matches where she's beating the holy shit out of local or smaller people, and people complained. That's when I know that you have no idea.
Yeah,
they had Lashley beat up 2 people his first match on the AEW, which was which a great way to use him. I think that his first match should have been with Swerve. But.
I found it, Derek.
You found it.
I found it. Sorry, go ahead, Craig. It's your show.
No, that was was it. That they used Bobby for a squash match against 2 people, to get him over. But that trope is gone. There should be squash matches. There should be enhancement talent to get guys over until they pay to see them fight someone that fight their own size. Yeah, It's a lost art, but it works.
If you don't think while you guys are talking, I'm not going to find this shot of him calling him a curtain jerker out of your goddamn mind.
I know you will.
It's when I was a kid, I was excited to watch the evil Doink the Clown fight Bret Hart because I watched Doink beat up jobbers for like 2 months straight on Superstars. So when he fought Bret, it was a big deal. It's like, oh, he's fighting a name. And it's like that. Ryback became a big deal for the time he was a big deal because they had him beating up 2-3 guys at a time. Like, people always going to want to see big guys beat up smaller guys. It's always going to work.
Do you know how WWF stayed in business and why Bruno Sammartino reigned for 8 years straight? Because all of Bruno's opponents would come on TV every Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, and beat the piss out of enhancement talent. I'd watch Ernie Ladd, all 6'9", 325 pounds, and I cover the ground I walk on. Beat up guys every week, sometimes with a cigar in his mouth. Sometimes he beat up 2 people. And after the match, he'd walk over, he'd step over the top rope, come down to a young Vince McMahon who would interview him, and it said, I'm going to tell you something, Mr. TV announcer, Bruno Sammartino. What I did to these 2 bums in the ring, I'll do to you, you spaghetti-eating moron. And he'd sell out Madison Square Garden, sell out Boston Garden, sell out the Spectrum. And we never saw Bruno on TV ever. We'd see the guy he was wrestling because he beat the shit out of people every week. And we paid through the nose to see what would happen when this destroyer would go up against the great Bruno. We knew what Ernie Ladd could do, but you'd have to pay to see Bruno. And that's how you do business. Again, beating up guys every week, get a guy over. I knew when not just Ernie Ladd, George Animal Steel, Nikolai Volkov, Ken Patera, any guy you see beating up people every single week.
Andre the Dummy.
Andre the Dummy. Wahoo, you drunken Indian.
Jesus Christ.
Back then, Derek.
The natives are getting restless.
The natives are getting restless. This is the guy that told Tony Atlas he's going to send him on a one-way trip on a plane ticket back to Africa on Atlanta TV. He said that.
And what's the difference between that is because he's black for the white folks that are confused.
Yeah.
Is this the guy this is the guy that fought both the Briscoes with a chain?
Yeah.
And then threw them into the trunk and drove them both to the hospital and dropped them off by the front door and left.
Yeah.
Ernie Ladd is one of my favorite people. And I wish I knew about Ernie Ladd when I was much younger. I knew about him, as a teen, but I'm like, I missed out on Ernie Ladd. Damn it.
It's like
Ernie called Strongbow whiskey drinker. Jesus.
It reminds me of because I knew Ron Simmons from WCW. He was the happy-go-lucky guy. I remember when he became Farouk. I remember this promo like it was yesterday. And he was feuding with Ahmed. And Farouk tells Ahmed, you want to be white so bad, but let me tell you something. You couldn't be white if they took you out back and they sandblasted your black ass. And I remember sitting in my house as a kid and thinking, Jesus Christ. He just doesn't care. But it was awesome. And to go back to that era, if you go back to that era, Kane, they built Kane up from The Undertaker. Kane would just come out and interrupt matches. And he would just choke slam guys and he'd beat guys up and then he'd leave.
Yeah.
And then you wondered, what is Taker going to do? And, but
we were better off when he spoke to us.
Oh, well, hey, yeah. Talk about a guy who could, he should have kept the mask on and kept the silent gimmick. Jesus Christ, Glenn Jacobs. But, yeah, and it's like Tony doesn't, it's for him to be such a fan of wrestling, it's like he doesn't understand simple concepts. And put Stokely Hathaway on TV. He's one of the best managers and talkers you have. And he's not on TV.
Dude.
Why? Why is it?
I cannot put into words. Listen to me when I say this. And I'm saying this, Dana, Craig, I am saying this with 100% sincerity, and I will die on this hill. I can't say his name, dude. Stokely Hathaway is this generation's Jim Cornette. Period.
Amazing.
End of fucking story. End of story. And the fact that he's not taking up 20 minutes of my television time on the microphone alone is a problem.
Well, I would say the same thing about Nana. All he does, he dances, but the guy can talk.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Give him more of the traditional manager role. The way exactly what MVP is doing now. Stokely should have been doing the last 2 years.
Okay. Yeah. I want to interrupt real quick. Derek, finish what you're going to say, then I'm going to interrupt.
No, I was going to say I have a soft spot in my heart for like the New Yorkers, especially the Long Islanders. They had Stokely with Statlander, and they were great together. And then they broke them up just to turn Statlander face so she could lose to Mercedes. And now nobody cares about Statlander anymore. And it's just stupid things like that. And now Stokely he's just sitting there doing nothing. Put him with
Dana, he is that good. I swear by Phil Collins's drumming ability that I've seen Stokely in person on the indies. I've seen him on different television shows. He's that fucking good. He's that good. Yeah. And they won't. I found my moment. I've been talking about this for years. and I finally found it. Real quick, the premise of the show is it's Sting, Disco, whatever, Booker T, Scott Steiner, hosted by Kevin Nash, and they're given it's an old show called The List, and they're given their top whatever workout songs. Except Disco is going to pick Disco because Disco is Glenn Garrett. Well, it's Glenn. And Scott Steiner has a bad cell phone signal, and he thinks it's about sex.
Yeah.
Which at least they're in gimmick. But there's this great moment, and this is the day. So on August 15th, the day before my birthday in the year 2000, is how I learned the term curtain jerker using context clues from my good friend Steve Ward. What? And then later he's like yelling at him, and Sting's like, just tell us, sit down, 86, sit down, you curtain jerker. I'm like, he's verbally abusing that man on TV, and it was beautiful. And sorry, folks. I just needed. I'm so happy you found this. Thank you, Derek. I can't wait to watch that later and be supremely disappointed. Oh, I'm watching 21 minutes, 49 seconds as soon as we're done here.
I watched a lot. You know what else I watched since we're on the old WCW stuff? I watched. They had they had like a partnership with MTV at a time. You remember that's like when DDP got beat up by Raven. So they had this one show where wrestlers represented a music video. And I guess they were supposed to wrestle each other, and whoever won that music video would advance. Well, it happened to be a rainstorm, and the ring was outside, and they couldn't have the matches. So at one point, they have Barry Darso, the Blacktop Bully, representing Run DMC, and I believe he was supposed to wrestle Booker T, who was representing LL Cool J. Well, since they couldn't wrestle, they had to cut promos to see who would win. So it's Barry Darso cutting a promo about how Run DMCs are the king of rock, the originators of rap, and they need to move on. It is the funniest thing you will ever see. They had Ultimo Dragon representing like Mariah Carey. Like, it was amazing and pure in the middle of a rainstorm. Pure WCW.
I have it. I have it here.
Yeah, it's the best.
Hold on. It's just from a great Tom Green. Oh, Dana, if you don't know this channel, Tom Green's WCW Deep Cuts. Tom is not that Tom Green. That's literally his screen name. This is a minute short about this event.
WCW produced a live Saturday night broadcast outside Charlotte Motor Speedway during the 1995 Coca-Cola 600 weekend. In typical WCW fashion, everything that could go wrong did. This is a WCW Deep Cut. Charlotte was rainy that afternoon, making life miserable for fans and wrestlers alike. WCW showed rare foresight, taping every match planned for the show weeks earlier in Atlanta in case of inclement weather. But for some reason, they only aired a few of them and still made most of the crew wrestle in the wet ring. Colonel Parker appeared, quote, live in both Charlotte and Atlanta, which nobody in WCW seemed to notice. The final segment was to be a Hulk Hogan versus Vader monster truck match, according to the Pro Wrestling Torch. Yes, just like that one. It was canceled when Brass remembered that the two were booked on a WCW tour of Germany. That tour was canceled, but they couldn't reschedule the monster trucks by showtime.
Lord. I just.
What a company. What a company. What a company. Oh my God, WCW.
I just, you know?
Don't
Dana, of course you remember that episode. So did I.
Not me. I missed that.
You're good. And the other segment that Derek was referring to, and then I'm going to get us back on track because I know what I'm doing here. Was TRL.
Yeah.
Live, and it's DDP sitting next to Dave Grohl, the Foo Fighters. And they're talking about his U.S. champion, and they're talking about his feud, and all of a sudden, the signal gets hijacked by Raven. What's with the static? How come there's no static for the Food Fighters? And how come there's no static for Diamond Dallas Page? they roll out the red carpet. Do I get the red carpet? No. And he says something about, well, DDP, you ripped me off of that U.S. title, and now I'm going to rip you off. Quote the Raven, nevermore. And all of a sudden, you
And
see
then what
Raven
happened?
run in from behind on the set and hit hard. Stop
Really
But a
sick.
stop sign. Oh,
like
yeah, that
you
stop
heard,
sign.
bap,
Oh.
Bam. And
and
then
then he DDTs him through this U.S. title. This should be mine right now. In fact, I think it will be. And he does the even flow through the table and just steals the title.
but when he bashes DDP with that stop sign really
I know
hard,
what you're gonna say. I know what you're gonna say. The curse.
but you could hear the laughter from the Foo Fighters on camera
Yeah.
as this is happening. That's what killed the moment.
Yeah.
Because I,
Well,
as a
then-
wrestling fan, it's like, oh shit, Raven's on MTV just attacked DDP with a stop sign, and DDP looked legitimately dazed because if you ever get hit in the head with a stop sign hard, but you heard the rest of the Foo Fighters laughing, just like Derek was just now on camera while it was happening.
Yeah.
And then you hear the guy, you hear somebody go cursing. I don't know, what I mean, because they dropped. Somebody went, oh fuck.
Yeah.
But and then stuck Mojo, but whatever.
Even then, they tried to make these guys look like bigger stars. You couldn't imagine anybody in AEW doing that to bring it full circle. They don't have enough. Nobody would know who these guys are.
Speaking of, unless Craig wanted to add to it, go ahead.
I was going to say they have AEW wrestlers doing promotion. Like when Edge first, they remember him? Remember Edge?
Yeah.
Well, he was on Kathy. No, still saying Kathy Lee. Mark and Kelly Ripa morning show. Because he was promoting his show on Sci-Fi. I forget what it was called. It wasn't Highlander or something else. But he was Adam Copeland, and he was there to plug his show. And he didn't have a match coming up, but he didn't mention AEW once. And the thing is, because he was Adam Copeland and not Edge, it didn't carry the same thing. So, and same thing with Jericho when he was still promoting. He was doing the rounds when he had his he was on tour with Fozzy. He would go on he would go on President Steve, but he wouldn't talk about AEW at all.
By the way, that interview didn't help.
Yeah,
it didn't help me.
Mm-mm.
Here you go. Dana scratched this out for us. And then, like I said, I do remember I'm bringing it back on track, but Dana found Barry Darso passionately defending Run DMC against Booker T.
It's amazing.
Which makes sense against Booker T.
Yeah, they're perfect. Yeah, they fit. Yeah.
I don't remember the hockey rink aspect of it.
It's like
it's outside of a roller ring.
In the middle of a monsoon, and like Booker T has on like a raincoat and a hat while they're doing this because it's raining so hard. And Carson Daly's there wearing a poncho.
Oh my God. I am not speaking. Yeah.
Oh, smash.
Oh, smash.
Oh, Blacktop. Oh, Payne Stewart.
Oh. Yeah, what was his golfing gimmick at the end of WCW?
Payne Stewart.
Was it Payne Stewart? Oh,
Yeah.
Payne Stewart. Yeah.
Payne. P-A-I-N.
Yeah. The C shows were where I'd see Hard Work, Bobby Walker, Kid Romeo, Kid Romeo. I remember them like he's going to be the next, and they were like, "Yeah, you're on Saturday night. Forget it."
Yeah.
And not Bobby Walker. Was it Hard Body Harrison?
Yeah.
Man, how many times they give him a chance and he botched 30 times during one match? So, all right, we'll see you in 3 months. He's got a lot of potential.
Yeah. A lot of people did. Him and Firebreaker Chip.
Oh my God. Firebreaker Chip.
Couldn't call him Firefighter. He was a Firebreaker.
I don't remember this little shit. Curtis Thompson. He had a great body, and that's about it.
That is it. You're exactly right, Dana.
You're talking about Hard Body Harrison?
Yeah, him and Curtis Thompson that's who Firebreaker Chip was.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Great, again, great body. Yeah.
It's Chip the Firebreaker versus JT Southern. I couldn't be more disinterested in this fucking match. Let's talk about the other elephant in the room. Bobby Lashley was asked a question, and now before you go, before you go on your answer, I want to say I know Kate. We talked about it last show. I thought the question was fine considering the atmosphere of wrestling these days. Fair question. But I also thought Bobby's answer was a fair answer. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Kate got eviscerated online by stupid fucking people who are white and racist and stupid. I wanted to get your opinion though.
I didn't have a problem with the question. I didn't have a problem with his answer. My problem are the people on the interwebs who act like they give a damn. And I think you don't care. You're using that to push whatever tribalism that you have, whether it's anti-WWE or anti-AEW, because these are the same people who were telling me Triple H was a racist because he didn't have African Americans on his, the last couple PLEs. If you people really cared about that type of thing, you would all watch NXT. Because I watched the NXT pay-per-view on Saturday, and every match on the card, every single match from the opening to the beginning had either a young black male or a young black female in the match. But you see, people, you don't mention that because you have your little agendas you want to push. Now, what I didn't like also was TK going, I think we have the best black wrestlers in the world. That feels very disingenuous to me, especially coming from him, because this is the guy who went on Twitter and told Big Swole he fired her because her wrestling wasn't good enough. This is the guy, when he was rolling his company out, he rolled out Sonny Kiss because Sonny Kiss checked one of the boxes, and the minute he didn't need Sonny Kiss anymore, he stopped putting him on television. So I think whatever fits his agenda, he'll do. And I think he saw as, well, I have a bunch of black wrestlers. Triple H isn't booking black wrestlers. Let me do this to pull favor. And I don't like when people use race to look good in a certain type of light. And that's what I think Tony Khan was doing. I understand what Bobby Lashley said. It's like in the NFL when I believe years ago somebody asked Doug Williams, well, how long have you been a black quarterback? And he's like, what the hell? I'm just a quarterback. Like, what are you talking about? So
I've been black all my life. Yes.
Yeah, right. I understand the question.
Yeah.
It's just it's the society we live in. But I didn't like Tony Khan saying what he said. It's like I told Craig in the chat. It feels like he has a bunch of toys and he's going, hey, look at my black ones. I have a bunch of these, by the way. That's what it felt like to me when he said that.
Yeah, well, he sees all of his wrestlers as his toys anyway, because he's playing fantasy booker in his basement like he used to. He admittedly did when he was a kid, and he's doing the same thing. These are just pieces to him. These are baseball cards that he's showing off to his other friends. Yes, all of that, everything you just said, Derek, was spot on. None of that was necessary. And Bobby Lashley has even come out and said on Twitter he didn't have any problem with the question, and he doesn't have any. And he was saddened that Kate got so much heat for it. Because,
is that it, Craig? Who knew?
Yeah. And he said he'd love the opportunity to sit down with Kate if she has a podcast or to do a full-length interview with him, because he didn't have a problem with the question. He answered it. She asked the question, he answered it, and that was it. And then it became a big deal because people wanted to be offended on behalf of someone else.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Okay, I see. I didn't even see this. Thank you, guys. Yes, thank you. Okay, I spoke to Bobby Lashley about Kate's question from the scrum. He was very confused to learn there was any backlash about the question, and said there was nothing wrong with asking it, and he took no issue with it. And he said he'd be happy to do an interview with Kate and didn't want any hate her way. Exactly. I love the answer below. People disagree. I completely disagree. You go tell him. You tell Bobby you disagree, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, that you don't agree with him.
Oh, of course he's white. Fuck you. Actually, I don't know who that is. But my point is, Like we played the video, unedited, untouched. I played it last week. It's on the video. It's on the audio podcast. There was literally nothing to that interaction. Kate asked a question. He heard the question and he answered it. He didn't motherfucker. He didn't
Nope.
get loud. He didn't sweat. He didn't shake. He didn't act black, as the white folks would say. He didn't do anything. He just answered the question.
He was smiling when he answered it.
It was one of the most intelligent answers to this race and wrestling shit that people pretend that doesn't exist, that I've heard in a long time. And people like this shithead and others, if you want to get sick, just type in your search bar Bobby Lashley, Kate from Fightful, and just see, and they're 90% Caucasian. Just people going, blah, 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 blah. It's exactly what you said, Derek, and Craig even touched upon that same point last week. They don't actually care. They're just using, because God forbid, did you say something about Triple H? No. She asked the question and got an answer, and then moved on, and then a bunch of fucks from the IWC had her lock her account down. Okay, congratulations.
Yeah.
Black
like I
man,
said,
white woman, people got upset.
You're using it to push your agenda. Like, and I hate when people do that. Oh, well, the black wrestlers and the black wrestlers. Okay. Well, why aren't you upset that Ricky Starks is sitting at home doing nothing? Why are you not upset, that this Apollo Crews is sitting at home not doing anything? Like, don't pick and choose when you want to be offended because it helps you push an agenda that you have for yourself. Yes. I hate people. I hate people that do that type of thing, and you see it all over the place, and it sucks. Like I said, the NFL, you got poor Jalen Hurts, right? All the kid does is win. He played in the Super Bowl. He lost the Super Bowl to probably the greatest quarterback that I've seen, not named Tom Brady. And you want to bash the kid, and you want to say this about him, and you want to say that about him. You see Lamar Jackson. All Lamar Jackson does is win games and win MVPs. You want to bash Lamar Jackson, and it's like, stop using race as a crutch for you to talk about what you, because you don't care. Just tell us you don't care, or don't say anything at all. But don't use race as a blanket or a sheet to fit an argument that you have. It's lazy, it's stupid, and it's offensive. And I hate it. I hate when people do that. I just can't stand. Don't fake care about race relations. You don't care. Shut up. You know why I know you don't care? Because you still talk about how great Hulk Hogan is, because he's and we should forgive him because he slammed Andre the Giant in 87, 88, whenever it was. Shut up.
Well said, sir. And as a random aside, for our audience, our listening audience, keeping on what Derek said, if you have Amazon Prime, please watch the documentary on the evolution of the black quarterback. And so much of what we've been talking about today goes back to race. When you see the amount of criticism that a black quarterback gets compared to, and they put up similar stats for any white counterpart, but like the same thing that Josh Allen is doing now, which is running for touchdowns and being, black quarterbacks are criticized for. All he does is run. But now, if you're white, you got to be mobile. You got to be versatile out of the pocket. You got to be able to, that's a prerequisite now for it to be a quarterback. But back then, that's all black quarterbacks did. All they did was run. He can't throw. Yeah, but nobody says anything about Josh Allen being a great athlete. But Jalen Hurts is, Lamar Jackson, they're great athletes because they run. But Josh Allen's just a quarterback.
I remember when Lamar Jackson was getting drafted, one of the guys, the scouts, was on TV. He goes, he's going to have to play wide receiver. I was like, what? What are you talking? And they say these things, and they never come back, and they never apologize. They never say, oh, I was wrong, blah, 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 this or that. They never apologize. No. And it's okay. I remember being a kid, and I would hear coaches go, oh, that's Steve McNair, he doesn't know how to read defenses, so he just he runs the ball a lot. And meanwhile, I'm thinking his nickname is Air McNair because he throws the ball almost 100 yards downfield. What do you mean he can't throw? His nickname is Air McNair. It's not Feet McNair, but it's nuts and it's crazy. And it's seeped its way into wrestling. And I'm glad there's guys like MVP and Lashley and even the younger guys like Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes and guys like that who are like breaking the mold because it needed to be done. It really needed to be done.
I agree. But 2025 is going to be an interesting year because we just touched upon the fact that NXT has so many great young talent that just happens to be black. But the trick has always been for NXT wrestlers is making the jump. And, some for the ones that succeed that were NXT champions and went on to be world champions, Gunther, hopefully Braun Breaker one day, and Shinsuke. But you have to do something with. We expect to see Obafemi and Trick Williams on the main roster because they're too good not to. WWE has the opposite problem that AEW has. They have too many stars.
Yeah.
You just had a big War Games pay-per-view without Cody Rhodes on it.
Yeah.
The biggest champion you have. But
Air McNair, Dana says Air McNair almost single-handedly won the Titans that Super Bowl. He had that mad scramble that led to a drop pass late in the game to keep that drive alive before time ran out.
Yep.
Yeah. I loved Steve McNair. And, he had to share an MVP one year with Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
They just couldn't give it to him. He had to share it. He had to be co-MVP.
Yeah. They couldn't just give it to him.
Bullshit.
And speaking of young stars, if Montez Ford isn't a single star next year, I might have to fight Triple H myself. I just want to say that Montez Ford should be he should be a superstar by now.
You can take him at this point because just push on his
the heart thing. I got a good advantage. But use Montez Ford, please, and nothing against his partner. He's great too, but Montez just. You always say that adage: one is Sean and one is Marty Jannetty. Not calling, not saying
that's not fair.
It's not. Marty Jannetty was awesome, and I hate when people say that. Marty was awesome.
No, but
one's Scott Hall, one's Kevin Nash.
No, but when you think of great tag teams, though, especially in the WWF, you knew which one was the dude. Like, I'll give you some examples. The Hart Foundation, you knew Brett was the guy. Harlem, you knew Booker T was the guy. Even Edge and Christian. Edge was the guy. You knew Christian would have success later on, but you knew Edge was the guy. If anyone's going to be it was that guy.
Yeah.
The Steiners, Scott was, the breakout one with the Frankenstein and the Hurricane Rana and anyone else does. And in the Street Profits, it's clearly Montez Ford. I thought they were going to do that a year ago, break him out, and they haven't done it yet. But yeah, so with tag teams, one of them was the guy. The Rockers had me fooled because I thought they were interchangeable. I never saw Shawn Michaels as being a singles anything. To me, the Rockers were just like Ricky and Robert, the Rock and Roll Express. I don't see either one of those guys being a single star. Same thing with the Dudleys. I didn't see either one of those guys being a single star. Or the Midnight Express. They had single success, but they were the most successful they're ever going to have was as a tag team, because I couldn't see either one of those guys being world champions. Montez, with the right push, yes, he could be a champion, a singles champion.
Just don't leave and go to
all you guys.
Montez.
Yeah.
Don't leave and go to AEW, Montez. Stay where you're at, please.
He's not. They've got to
stay with your wife.
Some folks have got to see this and go, maybe I don't want to.
Yeah, but you see, Cedric is the only one in the Hurt Business / Syndicate that stayed. Now, obviously, I think I know why he stayed, but
yeah,
he stayed nonetheless. So
who knew?
Yeah.
Craig, I think, and Derek, the door is always open. I think we're gonna move the story and stuff to next week because it's a long one.
Yes,
and but we'll do 2 weeks in a row like Stadium Journey is, and Data. What's Montez Mustang doing here in the impact zone?
Montez Mustang.
Mustang. It's not too far. Yeah, man. I mean, you are not too far off. I'm glad we finally got you on here to have that conversation because
Thank you, Derek.
and I
No
love
problem.
that there are people still when you go to that tweet that Bobby's like, no, it's fine. Let's just answer the question. People are like, he doesn't speak for all of us.
It's not all right, Bobby.
It's not
Don't
right,
say-
Bobby, and I'm going to tell you why.
Let me
Here,
tell you,
Bobby, come here. Let me tell you why you're wrong, black person. I'm a white guy. Let me tell you wrong.
Let me
Excuse me?
explain it to you. Yeah.
Let me explain it to you, cracker like. God, people are so stupid. Derek cannot be found on any social media because he is too fucking busy with a child.
He's too smart.
I mean, he's got 2 children. One of them is basically like 3 times taller than I am and like 20 or something.
Yeah, I'm not dad. I'm 18.
He's
with
not.
him.
You're not dad. You're like, hey, asshole.
He's an
Yeah,
ATM. Yeah.
Has he tried to
I'm
challenge you
ATM.
to a fight yet?
One day we were in the kitchen over the summer and I was like talking. I'm so self-conscious about it. So he walked past me and we were talking about something. He raised his voice a little bit, but he's so tall. He like looked me in my eyes when he did it. And I was like, wait a minute.
Whoa.
Like, are you trying to, he was like, and he's so passive. He's like, no, dad, no. I'm like, oh, okay. Cause I didn't know,
No,
my
I'm
dad
just
is
talking. But it's like tell the young man. I
Mhm.
almost said tell the boy, but that would have sounded terrible. I meant it like that. Tell the young boy, tell the young
Mhm.
man that no matter how big he thinks he gets, just show him this clip I'm about to show you. I challenged my dad one time.
Mhm.
18, 19, when I moved back in with him after living with mom for a few years. I went back and forth, divorced parents. And the room that I was in was his room when he was a kid. And it's the one room that the air never traveled to in the summer. So it was always, I had a thermometer. I had a thermometer. I had a thermometer. It was 99 degrees most days. And so I went out to get an air conditioner. So a window one.
Mhm.
So mind you, I'm a 18, 19-year-old kid. I didn't measure the window. I didn't do shit.
Just bought it.
Because I was an idiot. No, Dad, I'm just tall. Yeah. But he comes upstairs to help me and he starts not screaming at me, but he's like, you didn't even measure that. And I start screaming at him, and we have a screaming match. And I put my hands up like I was gonna box him.
Mhm.
Like this. I put my hands up like this, like we were gonna get into a tussle, and I saw a
Mhm.
flash of light, and my hands were still like this, but I was seated on the floor, and he's looked at me. He says, "Are you getting up?" I said, "Nope,
Nope.
no, sir."
Stay right
He
here.
walked out. He walked out. I boxed the air conditioner back up, carried that heavy shit to the car, drove it back to Walmart, returned it, and the next day we were fine. But that was the one time.
Yeah,
One
lesson
time.
learned. I was blessed that I had my brother is older than me, so the mistakes he's made, I've
You
he's
watched
told
him
me.
first.
So one time I kind of tried to buck up a little bit, and I was getting ready to yell. And my brother he was like, "No, just trust me,
Don't do that.
let it
Just-
go." He said, "Because you'll wake up and it'll be next week." So thank God for him.
Don't do it. You're gonna die.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah,
it's not worth it, Derek.
my dad, after his stroke, I jokingly went for his right side, which was damaged after the
Mhm.
stroke. Just jokingly,
Mhm.
hey man. And he pushed me, pushed me across the room with his left hand.
Mhm.
I was like, all right, never mind. Now I can get him now. After this last week, I can get him. I can get him now. But then he'll just get better and he'll kill me in his sleep. Like he'll figure it away. The dads are smarter. They've tried everything. So
Yeah, so now me and him it's a video. Like he called me the other day. He's away at school. He's like, "Oh, Dad, could you buy me like the new Indiana Jones game?" And I'm like, "All right, you have to get a job ASAP."
well, as I said, we will be back next Monday and we will do the historian, and if Derek joined, we always we'll go a couple days without mentioning anything in the chat, and then 13 things will happen, and we're like, hey, well, we got to talk about this,
Nap time is getting better. He went to sleep fairly early. I mean, bedtime is getting better. So if he goes to sleep at a decent time, which I'm thinking he might, then I'll be back. But I definitely enjoy being on here with you fellas. It's awesome.
Thank you.
It's nice it's nice to not have a white dude talk down to you, isn't it?
Right? Yeah. I miss you guys too. And my football team sucks, so I appreciate you guys not kicking me when I'm down.
Well, I mean, you're not. I mean, no, they're not relevant. Why would I mention? No, I'm just kidding.
No,
I'm kidding.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
I'm sorry about your football team, but there's a friend of yours that's playing for our team. If you like to root for him, I'm sure he wouldn't mind.
Oh, it's Saquon, right? Yeah. Okay.
Is that his name?
Right.
Listen,
Okay.
I just want you to know, and I want everybody to see this. They think I'm lying. That has been the background of my phone since it happened.
Listen,
Him hurtling backwards over the man is lit, and it's green, my favorite color. So, well, I just doxed myself there.
I know how this story ends with Saquon. I love him to death, but I know how this story ends.
With a championship, right?
He's gonna pull a hamstring. I mean, I don't want to wish. Not gonna win. I don't want to wish battle. Don't you guys play the Steelers next?
Yeah, we play him this Sunday.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna pull a hamstring.
Shout out to Mike Tomlin, another guy who is probably the second best coach in the NFL behind Andy Reid. And when he was trying to get a job, the Miami Dolphins told him he was too hip hop. So there you go. That's another example. Another example.
Wow.
He's about as hip hop as Barry Darso.
Is that how you say you're too black? Is that what that means?
Yes. And he's the furthest thing. He's
am I racist for knowing that?
No.
Or just smart?
No,
well, he didn't say urban. That's the other word for black.
Yeah, that's the code word, urban. Yeah, you hear that? Yeah, the code word is urban.
Oh, it's almost as bad. It's almost as bad as being in your 40s, Al, and referring to the blacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The blacks.
4-5.
What is it, 1985? What the fuck is wrong with you?
I remember when, and I'll let you guys go, when they had the first debates in 2016.
He did it during the George Floyd protests, so it was great timing, but go ahead.
And he was like, the blacks. And I was watching it with my my grandmother who's in her 80s. And she just looked over at me. She was like, why does he keep referring us to the blacks like we're like in a Motown group? Like, why does he keep calling us that? Like, what? I was like, I don't know, Nana.
He is lucky Nana didn't fucking kill him.
She's not a fan.
Listen, all the stereotypes that get thrown around there, I am not messing with an old Southern white woman, and I'm not messing with an old black woman.
No, yeah, they
because she's had to endure more bullshit than maybe even you, the two of you, and I, definitely me, could ever imagine. And if you want to walk up and fuck with them, okay, you hold your life in your own hands. You good luck.
And I tell people this and they laugh. All the stuff she's been through, my mom who grew up in the South, my dad, I'm first generation New Yorker, me and my brother. But all my family from the South, all the stuff they've been through, all the racism, they don't hold anything against white people. I wasn't raised to look at white people in a certain type of way.
I would.
Now they have a word for other white people that they call them that I can't say on air. Now those you have to look out for. But just regular white folks, no, they're good. They're all good people.
No, please say it. Is it Cracker?
Yes, Pop would say that in a heartbeat.
He would say it.
He's like, I love white people, but those other ones.
Crackers, man.
I can't stand them, Derek. Yeah.
Yes, and if you're watching this, that's as bad as the N-word. Please jump off a bridge, face first. Please jackknife into a parking lot, neck first, please. I appreciate that. Craig, where can the people follow you, sir?
They can follow me if they so choose on Facebook, Instagram, X, and Threads at Craig Ligons, CraigLiggeons.
Go see your comment on. I was just making sure. I was making sure the Press and Steve Reddit shut the fuck up. Yes, be sure I have a couple words to leave you with. Defend, deny, depose. Number one. Number two, Luigi's a good guy. Number three is what? What? I walked up to my Jewish wife. I said, I don't want you making fun of Italians ever again because they got his name. And she's like, oh man. I was like, yeah, that's right. He's correct. Number three, keep it on the paper because I missed that last. And follow me at DanLaw83, except for whatever the fuck that transphobic app is. To DanLaw TV. For Craig and Derek, I'm totally distracted. Stay off Reddit, and during the week of the largest food drive in America, again, I want to point out how stupid we are that we had to have a radio show doing a food drive in America because, God forbid, we fucking feed people. Try not to be a piece of shit on the internet. For Craig and Derek, I'm Dan. Goodbye.